This is Rogelio, the pipe trailer, in honor of an employee that worked here all the way from 1967. We still have his original application. So from 1967 to about 1990, Rogelio worked here, and he was a really great employee. So this used to be his pipe trailer, and we honored it by naming it after him. This is Rhett. So we name all of our equipment so we know what we're talking about. And this tip trailer is going to be named Rhett. And Eric, will you please explain the name, why we're naming this trailer this? Please.
Rhett was Grandpa's horse. Supposedly it was a kid's horse. Well, he knew how to open all the gates. And my dad taught him how to do trials horse stuff. Well, this became a teeter-totter in that educational experience. And, well, the horse had let himself out of the corrals, broke the tongue completely out of this thing, at which point my dad had to rebuild it. But he would let himself out in the morning at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, bang, bang, bang. They'd wake up to the sound of the horse teeter-tottering instead of the roosters crowing. So now the trailer is Rhett.
So you're going to weld the name onto probably the front here.
Yeah, I'll put Rhett up here next to the winch someplace so it can be seen. I'll put Park on one side and probably the Broken Arrow brand, because this was Grandpa's trailer.
Yeah.
He bought it. So I'll put the Broken Arrow stamp or brand, and then I'll put Park and I'll put Rhett.
Yeah, so that way we know what trailer. Go get Rhett. Go get what was the pipe trailer.
Sounds more fun than go get the big ugly flatbed.
Right, and so when was this trailer purchased? How old is it?
It's been around the farm since probably the mid-50s.
Yeah, so 1950s trailer, and we name everything like I said in the previous clip. The pipe trailer's name is Rogelio for its reasons, and we're just trying to keep history alive. So this is Rhett the trailer, and it's a teeter-totter, and we're going to use it on the next big job. Okay, thank you for letting me interrupt your work so that I could get this documented. So this jack right here is a railroad jack. I don't know from what year, but they found it, and it's called the Jolly Green Jack. And as you can see, it's huge. So
it weighs almost 250 pounds.
Yeah, it actually says it 249. See, those are your regular jacks over here. And this is a railroad jack. And so, yeah, Jolly Green Jack. Dangerous stuff. It doesn't have any.
It's a Simplex brand.
So do you know the year of it though?
I would put it about mid-early 70s.
Nice.
And if you get it.
It's a 20-ton jack from the 1970s, and it's what they use in houses.
There it is. It's not wanting to cooperate. You can get it to, if you can get the right amount of pressure on it,
yeah,
you can get it to just ratchet itself all the way down.
Oh, nice.
The handle we used to have,
yeah,
was a rifled cannon barrel from an F-16 fighter jet. Uncle Dale brought it in from the Air Force Base.
yeah.
So it's like a 10-foot long barrel, and it fit in here perfectly.
Wow.
You could put 6 200-pound dudes on that thing, on this jack, and you could pick anything up and not bend that barrel.
Wow.
It happened.
Wow. Nice. Will you talk to me about this lathe really quick?
The story has it that came off of one of the World War II aircraft carriers. So I don't know what brand it is. It works good. I mean, I could probably find
It's a metal lathe, right?
Yeah. It's got a couple different heads for it. Chucks, but it's old. Still works like a dream though.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have to be within, you know, thousandths of an inch, it's just fine. But it's a Bilotti Machinery Company, and good luck trying to get much more out of it right now.
Nice.
I've made a lot of parts on this thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's old.
Yeah, that number 13.
LeBlond. Yeah, it's number 13. It's LeBlond Regal Lathe, I guess. But it's your forward and reverse switches still work just fine.
Oh, wait.
See?
So it runs on electricity, obviously.
Yep.
Nice.
It's set up for 110.
Cool.
And I think that might be one of the original motors. They don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah.
That thing's gotta weigh 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
This thing's heavy. Stable as could be.
Yeah. Oh, this is the instructions.
Yep.
It says oil daily.
Yep. You open that up, and these are your oiling slots, so you can get all these gears in here. Basically, this works like a transmission.
So oil like with regular oil, like car oil, or?
Yeah. You can use motor oil, or any kind of lubricant is better than no lubricant. And this thing's just wore out enough that it doesn't care as long as it's oil.
Feed compound.
So so your feed compound is, oh God, whoever's listening to this, don't roast me too bad. If I remember correctly, that is for thread cutting speeds, because you got to compound your gears down. And so you got your feed reverse here. And so to cut, like if you're going to cut threads, I've got to get this all working, but this actually engages a clamp that gets onto this all thread here. Because that's spinning, watch. I don't want to run it because this mechanism's not tight. It used to work just fine, but let's see if I can get it to engage. And these things will tear you up, so I don't grab them. Let's see.
You don't have to break it on account of the video. I mean, it's heavy duty. It's.
Oh, for pity's sakes. Either way, when you get this spinning,
Yeah.
you can change your feed speed. So instead of having to manually do this,
Yeah.
it will mechanically do it. So your thread cut, or if you're machining like a shaft down to a very, like it's got to be a long shaft, whatever this 4-foot table here is. So if you need to make a particular thickness of cut, the length of the shaft, this will engage and you get it set to run reverse or forwards. So
that it's all like even and correct.
yes. So all you have to do is stand here and oil your part as you're cutting, and just once you dial in, you just add oil and watch for any trouble that could happen. Otherwise, you just hands off.
Yeah.
So once you dial in your cut and your angle, of course your tooth, your bit here, you just set it up and just turn it loose.
And then is that the oil? The oil that looks like something that came off like it reminds me of Wizard of Oz, you know.
Yeah, this is the oil can that the Tin Man had.
That the Tin Man had, yeah. Only actually his was like a thumb trigger.
Yeah,
I can just hear it in my head.
Right there. Matter of fact, buried on the table.
Oh, it's buried.
Mm-hmm. Right here.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that one. Here, look. Show it to the.
Oh, no, this one's having issues. I probably got to put a new rubber in the suction plunger in there.
Well, all I can see is your elbow. If you just.
Nope, this one needs some love, but it used to work. I added a piece of rubber to it for sitting here and doing this number.
Nice.
It's older than sin.
Older than old. Nice. Oh, well, thank you for educationaling me. Go ahead.
So with this end of the tool, see how it's open-ended here on the table?
Yeah.
You can actually take this end off, if this wasn't in the way. You can take that off and you can put a cradle here that just supports shafts. Mm-hmm. So you can put your shaft in, and this is actually passed through, and it'll accept 1 inch thick shaft, or a little bigger actually. Yep, like 1 1/16 shaft. So you can feed that all the way through, and you can basically, if you had this set up correctly, you could run an unlimited length of shaft through this thing, and machine it indefinitely, as long as you had a way to support it on and keep it stable. But you don't want to do that, because then you get too much length of anything, just like on a crankshaft or a camshaft in an engine. You get too much length. What happens is it starts doing this number.
Yeah.
And you start tearing things apart. Harmonic balancing is basically the effect I'm referring to. But this right here, you can chuck in any number of these lovely little guys. That's a ream.
Oh, wow. So that shelf has all the stuff for...
So this is a drill bit. You can put these in here, chuck them in, slide this forward, chuck a part here. So what you would do is you can actually feed this in. So you chuck a part that needs to spin. Let's say I needed to cut a spindle or a hub.
Okay.
Right? Or you'll actually get to see this, because when I start building the flywheels for the wood chipper processor, I'm going to have to build a custom hub to accept those harmonic balancers off those CAT engines for this. So what you'll see me doing is taking a piece of plate steel, and I'll get it set here on this, and then I'll have to cut for my shaft. So you'll actually see me drill a hole through it.
We'll do another video about that and actually get to see this machine work. It'd be silly to do it right now. You've got to work on the trailer and get that done for the job.
But yeah,
coming up.
You just slide this tool forward with your whatever bit, ream, or whatever, chucked into this, and then you can feed it in. So you can use this like a drill press. But your part spins instead of your bit.
Nice.
And you can control your speed a lot more infinitely. So this will make a lot truer hole than a drill press ever thought of doing, because there's so much more bulk here. It's more stable. And you have a lot more fine speed control. So if it has to be super... with some steel, you have to spin it extremely fast and feed really, really slow, because it's really hard. With other types of steel, you gotta turn it really slow. It's just different characteristics, and I can't remember all the properties and how it all works. I started learning how to do the machinist thing, and
Life led you a different direction.
Yep.
This was made in Ohio.
Yep.
Does it say what city?
Cincinnati.
Oh, there you go, Ohio people. Cincinnati. Way south of where I was born. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for that tutorial about the machinery that we have. That's awesome. Dirt all over.
Oh, jeez. So, the extra chuck head, and these are, if I remember correctly, the parts, this being the carrier, and those being your adjustable sizes for your shaft that you can put in on the other end of the lathe here, so you can carry the length of a shaft. So if I had to put a tractor axle in here and turn it, let's say I had a tractor axle that broke, and I welded it back together. So let's just say it broke completely in half. And I needed to weld it back together because it's an obsolete part. Imagine that with what we run around here.
Right.
So after I welded it back together, I need to make sure it's true. Heck, even welding it, I would probably chuck it in this and cradle it up so that as I'm welding it, none of my parts have a chance to flex or contort, because when you're dealing with something like that, you have thousandths of an inch of play, or so a couple thousandths of an inch makes all the difference. So it has to be true. So I'd probably disconnect this thing from electricity, run my gown clamp to this, and then make sure everything is absolutely stable so that I could start making my tack welds. And it'd be an involved process, but I'd roll it, tack it, roll it, tack it, roll it, tack it, and roll it around a million times and roll it all back together. And then to make sure it was true, I'd use this to machine it true again.
Nice.
So that there was no differences in clearance or tolerance.
he's using a welding helmet to see that he put the welding helmet on so he can feed. So he's feeding the fireplace, and he's kids are so cute.
So this ammo crate right here, it's a 20mm round, also known as, this is for like anti-aircraft gun. So this was my great-grandpa George's. He got this from the Air Force Base in Mountain Home.
Well, can you open it?
There's no ammo or anything in it, but
What?
like this. You pull it up like this. Simple hinges.
Nice. Very good.
This
Well,
is from 1944.
very good. Thank you for showing us.